Don't Sweat 2022, an aptly titled presentation. So today we're going to be talking about miraDry. So before we get started talking about the good stuff, I did want to introduce Bonnie Tucker with miraDry. So give us a brief explanation of you and your background, Bonnie.
Yeah, so I've been with miraDry for going on 2.5 years. Account manager is my official title. Underarm specialist / expert would be my unofficial title. In all seriousness, I love being with the company. I've had the treatment. I'm going to kind of brief over that as well a little bit, but it's just something that's really life-changing that I'm really happy to be a part of.
Love that. We are so excited to have you here with us today. An expert, some might call you. So we're excited to hear from you. And then first up from the Sonova team is we have Christy Williams. She has been with Sonova Dermatology, the Pool Dermatology location, for 2 years now, and she's been performing miraDry during that time. And they have performed at Pool Dermatology over 50 treatments, which is so exciting. Those people, I'm sure, are loving those results. So Christy, tell me why you love miraDry.
I love miraDry. I love the feeling of after giving a patient the miraDry treatment, when I get the reaction that they're not sweating anymore. They're so excited, or they're just like, it's just rewarding for me, because I feel good that I helped them, with something that they were having trouble with. So
I love that. Love to hear it. Well, we'll talk to you a little bit more about the process here in a bit, but I want to introduce Misty Gray, who is the aesthetic RN at our North Austin location. She's been with Sonova Dermatology for over 7 years, and she's been performing miraDry for about 6 of those. And then the North Austin location has performed over 300 treatments, which has to be some sort of monumental award of some sort. The reward being that you get to meet Misty. So thank you, Misty, for joining us, and tell us why you like miraDry, something that you enjoy about miraDry.
miraDry is, what do you want to say, life-changing for some people.
Sure.
I always tell my patients about this because they're like, oh, have you had it done? No, I have not, but I really want to have it done. I just can't do it to myself. But I have done it on my daughter, and I hate telling this story because I feel like a bad mom, but she always stunk, and her stuff was always super sweaty. I thought it was like, oh, she's an athlete, just go take a shower, go take a shower, go take a shower. Finally, she asked for a miraDry for her high school graduation, and I'm like, okay, right, she doesn't really need this, but okay. It was like immediate. Her laundry didn't stink. Her room didn't stink. I wasn't screaming at her to go take a shower. She really did have a sweat and odor problem. And anybody that
I'm sure she appreciates you telling that story, but
I didn't use her name. It's okay. I have 3 daughters. You can pick which one I'm talking about.
We'll keep this between us.
I know, just between us and all of our friends live. Well, that's fantastic. We love to hear that you have a personal experience with miraDry, and that you can attest to its powers. So with that being said, I'm going to hand the microphone over to the lovely Bonnie, and she's going to go ahead and start talking about a little bit of the technology and how miraDry works.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Taylor. Okay, I'm going to turn off my video so you don't see me chugging water while I speak. But okay, so we'll actually just start on the first slide, Taylor, because I just want to kind of go over some kind of introduction things, because a lot of time when I'm talking to patients, they're like, okay, sweat, odor reduction, that's awesome, but like, I don't really know much about it. Can you kind of start from the very beginning? So for me, I wanted to just like make sure everyone knows I have had the treatment. That's why I'm very passionate about it. Like Christy and Misty said, what's cool about this treatment is it just works. It's one of these treatments where you see real actual results. And that's what I have experienced personally. So for me, I work out, probably not as much as I should, but I do live an active lifestyle, and just not having to wear deodorant every day, that's been what's really affected and changed my life for the better. I do, when I work out, I do sweat a little bit. We'll kind of go over this later, but the average reduction in sweat is about 82% after 2 treatments. So sometimes if I'm like really running, I'll sweat a little bit, but on a day-to-day basis, it's just not something I have to worry about, which is incredible. Also want to share, and I'll be kind of touching base about this too, but miraDry is more than just sweat reduction. It's actually like a 3-in-1 kind of treatment because you're not only getting sweat reduction, you're also getting odor and hair reduction as well. So for me, like this is such TMI, but like I only shave my underarms once a week. I really don't have to at this point. I kind of just do it out of habit. So trust me, guys, there's a lot of reasons to love this treatment. And actually, Taylor, you're going to kill me. I'm just chirping over here, but a few more things before we go to the next slide. I just want to go over the basics about what it is. Oh, excuse me, everyone. My dog is extremely passionate about this procedure as well. But yeah, so just a little bit more about the basics. So miraDry is the only FDA cleared treatment that permanently reduces the sweat and odor glands. So what that means for the patients at Pool and at Sonova is because we're able to get those permanent results, that 82% average reduction, I mean, it's really a life changer. So I do want to like specify, and we'll talk about this more in the consultation. Now, some people will come in and get one treatment and they're obsessed. They're like, okay, I love these results. That's all I need. But others do come in and they're like, hey, I love the results after my first treatment, but they do choose to get the second treatment as well, just to capture even more of those sweat and odor glands, get a little bit more of that reduction. And that's when they're really in the sweet spot. They really don't have to worry about anything going on in their underarm. All right, next slide. Okay, so, and you might be kind of thinking like, okay, well, that's cool, but I'm not sure, like, do I really need it? So before I kind of go into our benefits here, when I am with accounts, when I'm with Misty and Christy and with real patients, I ask, I'm like, okay, what made you interested in miraDry? And I'm pretty like blown away by all the different reasons that people tell me. So in the consultation, we'll go over a few things with you and kind of see, okay, what's your why and what's the right plan for you? But, you know, some of the reasons that I hear that you might kind of talk about in that consultation would be like, okay, well, you know, sweating isn't even my main thing, but I don't like putting antiperspirant with chemicals in my underarm. I really am interested in a toxin-free lifestyle. A lot of people choose to get miraDry for that reason. Some people are like, you know what, sweat, a little, you know, water under my underarms doesn't bother me, but I'm in it for the odor reduction. Like, let's try to take care of that and help with my odor. Other people, guys, like, I mean, here in Texas and Louisiana, it's hot. We are sweating, and some of us can't wear Lululemon, like can't wear a nice linen or silk dress shirt to work without having to worry, oh my gosh, am I gonna sweat through my outfit? Am I gonna have to change halfway through the event? I mean, so like having no wardrobe restrictions, like that is also a very important reason that's big for a lot of people. So it's just cool how it can kind of change your life in a lot of ways. Now, but like back to what miraDry really is, again, the only FDA cleared permanent procedure that can help with these things. And what I want to highlight about this slide is these three really big benefits here that we've got. So permanent, immediate, and non-surgical. One of my favorite things about miraDry is it is immediate results. What that means is, you know, as soon as we treat the first underarm, you're going to see that reduction pretty instantly. A lot of patients have a lot of questions like, okay, well, what does it cost? How many treatments do I need? That's all really flexible, again, kind of based on what we go over with you in the consultation, like what's your why? So Misty and Christy kind of go over that with you and help determine kind of your treatment plan. So what we have to remember, there's a lot of benefits here. The three main ones are that reduction of sweat, odor, and hair. So the one that sticks out to you is really going to be what affects what we advise for your treatment. I do want to touch on like odor specifically. So odor, if that is your main concern, I personally would always recommend 2 treatments. The reason why is if you have a little odor left over after your first treatment, that's still going to be a little odor that you're going to worry about. And we don't want you to have to worry about that. So the second treatment will really help you get to a better spot where you're feeling just more confident about your odor reduction. So permanent, immediate, non-surgical, And guys, these reasons are why we have that amazing 90% satisfaction rate. Trust me, I will not shut up about that. So I'll kind of go over into that a little bit later. But we can go to the next slide here. Okie doke. So the truth about sweat and odor. So as this slide says, you guys, we're born with anywhere from like 2 to 4 million sweat glands throughout your body. The underarms, the area that we are treating, that contains only about 2% of the glands. So eliminating that 2%, just treating this one area, does not affect your body's ability to cool itself. So that leads into, and staying on this slide, that just leads into one of the most common questions that I get, which is, okay, Bonnie, well, if you're eliminating some of my sweat and odor glands in my underarm, am I going to sweat more in other places? And great question. The reason is no, you're not going to sweat more in other places. And the reason why you won't is just because this technology is so cool and it's just eliminating sweat and odor glands in your underarm. It is not affecting your body's ability to cool itself. So, your body's still going to work normally. Nothing is going to happen to the nerve that sends a signal to the underarm saying, hey, your body is hot. It's time to cool down and start sweating. Everything is going to work normally. It's just there are less sweat and odor glands in this one area. So you're not going to produce as much sweat. So you're still going to sweat, everywhere else normally, just like you would to regulate your body temperature. And no additional sweat is going to be in other places. All right, and we can go ahead and move on here. Okay, and you're like, all right, Bonnie, this all sounds pretty magical. Let's, how in the world does this work? So the next 2 slides, we can kind of touch on that and see how it does work. So this is kind of a diagram of just our underarm makeup here. We can see we've got the 3 layers. We've got the epidermis, the dermis, and the fat. So that's what's going on in your underarm. And that's like what we really have to look at to see how miraDry works and how it is so effective and how it can eliminate and reduce the sweat, odor, and hair. And most importantly, how we can do that safely. So as you can see here in this sweat anatomy, you can see that your sweat and odor glands are a little bit deeper than just the surface of your skin. And that is important because if we go to the other slide, just the next one, perfect. We're going to see how miraDry and how our system works within your own anatomy. So I want to, before I even go into this, a lot of you are probably familiar with a laser treatment. A laser only targets the top of the skin, and miraDry is not a laser, and that's how we're able to get these permanent effective results. We are using heat energy, and so our heat goes anywhere from 2 to 5 millimeters below your skin. And as you can see, that's down here at the bottom where the sweat and odor glands actually lie. So our heat can go deeper to actually get the sweat and odor glands that lie below the skin. And while we're doing that, we're actually cooling the top part of the skin. So we are protecting you while we are able to reach and eliminate the sweat and odor glands. You can go ahead and go to the second one there. Okay, guys, and again, just want to remind you, feel free to stop or type in questions. We are being very respectful of y'all's time today, so I'm just going through, but please jump in and let me know if you have any questions here. But really want to let you know what you can expect to the day of the treatment. So we looked at how it works, like under the skin, but what are you actually going to see and experience yourself that day during the treatment? Well, miraDry is extremely safe. It says here on the slide, it's been used in over 150 treatments worldwide. That's actually a very old number, guys. We're looking at about 300,000 treatments worldwide now. So this is very popular, very safe. It's easy as well. An appointment, I think it normally lasts about an hour and a half, but that definitely varies. But you might think it sounds complicated, but the treatment itself and what you are going to experience that day, it's really 3 steps. Step 1, we're going to numb your underarm. Step 2, we're going to mark the area that we'll be working with. And step 3, we're going to treat it. So I want to focus on step 1, the numbing, kind of let you know what to expect there. So we do inject what we call high volume anesthesia, and we do that for a couple of different reasons. Sometimes people are like, oh, can we just use a numbing cream? Like, let's just keep it easy. Well, we don't want to do that because our heat, again, it's going below the skin. So we have to do injection numbing so we can numb where the heat is actually going and protect you that way. So again, when that heat is going below the skin, that's how we're getting the 3-in-1 benefits, the reduction of the sweat, odor, and hair. So again, just the 2 reasons we're doing anesthesia that way is because we want to make sure you're numb and comfortable, and we want to make sure you're getting the best treatment possible. So we are making sure we can treat you, get the heat to go as deep as we can, and eliminate, the more sweat and odor glands as we can without interacting with any anatomy that we don't want to interact with. So I also want to let you guys know that if, most people do not feel much discomfort during a miraDry treatment, but people say if they feel anything, it's probably during the numbing. Now, luckily, I'm a wimp myself, and I say on the scale of like 1 to 10, for me, it was about a 3 because I'm a baby, but most people say it's about a 1 or 2. So really nothing to sweat about, pun intended. And then just briefly to go over steps 2 and 3. After the numbing is done, you aren't feeling much and it's pretty gravy from there. Then we are applying a little tattoo on your skin, and we're using that as a map to just treat you with the miraDry machine. I like to joke with patients that they're gonna love their new permanent underarm tattoo. They don't think it's funny. I think it's funny. Obviously, I'm kidding. We just wipe that away right after your treatment. So unfortunately, you don't get to keep that forever. I know it's very tempting. All right, just moving right along here. So that was during the treatment, but then like what to expect after. So we kind of went over some common questions like, does it hurt? What should I expect? But what should you expect after is pretty important too. And of course, Misty and Christy are going to talk about that too. So again, during the procedure, all in all, it takes an hour and a half, maybe you're in and out. You are going to see those immediate results. You're going to immediately see the reduction in your sweat. And afterwards, guys, I do want to make sure people know it's very normal to have some swelling, soreness, and numbness. Pretty much every patient does. I would say it's abnormal if you don't have that. And why is, again, we're going below the skin. So people are like, well, wait, that doesn't happen with a laser, but again, that's just the top of the skin. We're going below. We are getting these permanent results. So I swear it's worth it in the long run. And you can even see in the next slide. So again, it's worth it, guys. This treatment, it's permanent. It's 1 to 2 treatments and you're gonna love it. But I like to say, talk to Misty, talk to Christy, talk to me. But more importantly, do your own research and see what other people who have no affiliation with us, what they have to say about miraDry and their experience. We have a 90% satisfaction rating on Real Self, which is just incredible. And that's like, again, what Misty and Christy were saying, like why we love this treatment. We love it because it changes lives. And, no matter what your why is, we can talk about that in the consultation. This is a treatment that really has an effect on you and your just day-to-day life. So that's kind of like what I have to say, guys. Let's kind of jump into more meat of it with Misty and Christy. Let's be real, they're the stars here. But yeah, thanks for listening to that. And we'll talk to them and then we'll see if you guys have any questions about what I said as well.
For sure. We are so excited. Thank you so much, Bonnie, for sharing that super helpful information. I do think it's super important to understand all the safety aspects of it, how happy people are with the treatments that they've had. So now let's get to the nitty gritty. These are like the questions that I would want to know if I was getting treated. So we're going to kind of walk through this process again. I know Bonnie talked a little bit about it, but I do want to kind of prod the providers that are actually offering this procedure to kind of get what they have gotten from their patients. So Christy, tell me a little bit about what a consultation entails and kind of what would be something like, who would be a good candidate for this?
Well, consultation entails, I kind of ask you, why would you like to get the miraDry? Most of the time people are saying they're like switching the shirts 2 or 3 times a day. And some people are wanting to go natural, not want to wear deodorant anymore. I have those patients also. So sometimes that's their reason for it. So I just kind of ask them, you know, what's their reason? I go into my little spiel about what miraDry is, how did they hear about miraDry? And then I kind of ask a list of questions, you know, do you have like heart pacemaker? Do you need any supplemental oxygen? Do you have a history of Accutane use in the past 6 months? Do you have any type of resistance to any type of numbing? Are you pregnant? Questions like that, just to make sure that they are a good candidate for the procedure. I also get one of the doctors in just to check the anatomy of the underarms before, you know, we really give it a go and say, yes, you're like a great candidate, you know, when you want to have the procedure done.
Yeah, I love that. It sounds to me, I mean, beyond that list of questions, that most people can be considered a candidate for this procedure. It's just those few people that have specific health conditions that probably stop them from getting most procedures, elective procedures. So that's really exciting to hear. So that's super helpful information. So I want to move over to Misty now and ask her, tell me a little bit about what pre-treatment is like. So if I've come in, I've already done my list of questions, I've been approved to have this procedure. What are the things that I need to be doing before I come in for my treatment?
We go over this in the consultation, but typically I personally, and most of my patients we ice afterwards. We do send them home with ice packs, but as most people know, they only last for a short time and then you need to refreeze them. So I will tell them to take 4 bottles of water and pour the top of them out and put them in the freezer, at least the night before. Some people will go ahead and do it the day of their consultation once they know, so it's all ready. They do need to shave their underarms. I usually say 3 or 4 days prior to coming in. It's all right if there's a little bit of hair growth. I just can't have a whole long hairs in there because I got to be able to get that template or that tattoo to actually stick. But basically have water bottles ready. And I tell them that big basket of mismatched socks is perfect for these bottles. A lot of people are working from home. So I say, slip on some socks, put them in your underarms. You can still type, you can still talk on the phone, and you can still do a lot of things if you need to work, or you can sit in front of the TV and watch Netflix or whatever you choose. I usually tell them to plan on icing 10 minutes every 30 minutes. And I tell them 6 to 8 hours. So the more you can do it that day, the more pleasant your evening's going to be. I do also tell them to take a little bit of Tylenol or ibuprofen, whichever one it is of choice, once they get home before the numbing wears off. And in 4 hours or 4 to 6 hours, if it's still kind of lingering, go ahead and take the other one like you have the flu, and do them every 4 to 6 hours just to kind of get a handle on it. You'll sleep like a baby that night, long as you ice. If they want to ice a little bit more and not take so much, I say 15 minutes on, 15 minutes out. You can set a little timer on your phone and work away, in, out, and then you can do that for a couple of hours and then switch the ice bottles out.
I love that. I love that. We kind of worked our way straight from treatment to post-treatment. I love that. No, you're so good. That's perfect.
Things that, like, I have water bottles everywhere. I drink water, you know, I chug water. I'm like, you sound like me. I pour some water out, put it in your underarm and like customize it, freeze that, and you've got more ice packs. So
no, that's fantastic. Because I feel like my first thing would be like, I got to find something to do this, and I can't use these little ice packs that I have all the time. I got to have backups. I got to be ready. So we're prepared. I'm sorry, Christy, go ahead and say.
No, I was saying that was a good idea. I like that sock idea. I'm gonna have to use that.
Yeah. I
We've
love
all
that.
got that drawer of random mismatched socks. This is their time to shine. Like this
I love that. Okay, and then, or you could just pick the fun ones to make you feel excited about your new lifestyle with less sweat and odor. That's amazing. So we did talk about when Bonnie was going through the presentation, kind of what to expect on the treatment day. Misty also talked about making sure that you shave a couple of days before, so we're able to apply the tattoo. One important piece of information that I need everyone to know about this treatment is that the sound that the miraDry machine makes is my favorite sound.
Oh, me too.
This is the important information you've all been waiting for. This
It
machine,
sounds like slot machines.
it sounds like a slot machine, and it
Or
just
heaven.
it trills, and I sit there and I'm riveted. I'm just like waiting to win. It's like I'm waiting for my time to hit my jackpot. I love it so much.
It literally sounds like Vegas or heaven, but to some people, Vegas is heaven. So it's, you know, just a very pleasant, soothing sound.
I love that. And the prize that you win is less sweat and odor. So, I mean, is
Right.
it not a jackpot? I think it is a jackpot.
You are hitting the jackpot. That's a great.
I love it.
And Misty, so you were going over post-treatment. You like love that you included everything. I do want to touch on like exercise. Some people who are not like me care about exercising a lot. It's good for you guys. I wish I were one of you.
Right.
For me, when I got my treatment, I was like, oh, I don't get to work out for a few days. Oh man, you know, twist my arm. I guess I'll wait. But yeah, so just if you are one of those people who I wish I was, who really likes working out, you can't work out for a few days, but other than that, you know, there's not a ton you have to do besides just taking it easy on your little underarms for a few days after.
Deodorant, deodorant is another one for me that I think is important. I tell patients, you know, if they do have to go back to the deodorant in about a week, make sure that it is a new deodorant or antiperspirant stick. You don't want to use your old deodorant bar, antiperspirant bar under basically your new underarms. You don't want to introduce that old bacteria into your new underarms. So I think that's a big thing that I like to tell the patients also. Make sure you have a new deodorant stick.
Totally.
That's great. Helpful information. And then I also love the fact that Misty touched on that you were able to kind of get back to your daily life. So especially with a lot of us working from home now, it's going to be quite easy for you after having this like exciting and life-changing procedure to be able to just kind of jump back into the things that you need to get done. It's not going to take you out for a long time or anytime at all, to be honest with you. So that is super helpful. So what I say is, I think you need to follow these lovely ladies' explanations of what to do post-treatment, and I think you'll be living in the sun there. And then we talked about this a little bit earlier, but I do kind of want to get feedback from you ladies that do the procedure in the office. Let's see, Christy, tell me how often you think that you have patients that come in and get a second treatment?
So not often. And only because some patients, even though I do recommend it during the consultation, I do tell them, you know, one treatment may get you to where you want to be, but 2 treatments is even better for like basically those optimal results. I'll get a patient every now and again, you know, if they were a super excessive sweater at the first treatment and it knocks them down, say they were at a 10 and they're probably like at a 2 now, they want to get knocked down to 0, they'll come in for that additional treatment. But that's kind of like, you know, their choice. But I do kind of, you know, stress about, you know, it is better to get 2 treatments than 1. So.
I love that. And Misty, what about you?
I would say, you know, over the years, I wouldn't say 50%, but it's quite a bit, but typically they wait a year or 2 to come back. I do have a handful of people, but they are definitely have hyperhidrosis, and they look at me at the first treatment and say, if this works well, I am coming back in 6 months to do my next one, and they darn well do. But I'd say, you know, I have a lot of people that come about a year or 2 later, and I think it's because their life is better, but then they sit there and think about it. It could be so much better if I did this again. So they come back and do a second one.
That's fantastic. And I do like that you mentioned the hyperhidrosis as being part of the reason as to why you might want to do more than one, because saying you're an average sweater or someone who's more interested in the odor aspect of it, you may see those results in 1, or you may want to have 2, but then those people who have clinically larger amounts of sweat may appreciate an additional treatment. But you know, you can do 1. And then the exciting thing is, in the same vein as an excessive sweater, we offer an excessive discount on the second treatment. So it's a really great thing. And I think that that's a testament to how much we value this procedure and that we really want you to have the best results, is that we will offer the second treatment at quite a bit of a discount. But I'm not seeing any questions now. So what I will say is about the discount, carrying over that excitement, we are offering $200 off of our regular pricing for this treatment. So it is going to be $1,750, which is a great deal to be able to permanently reduce your underarm sweat and odor. And there are multiple options. We do offer care credit in our offices. If that's something that you'd like to look into, our providers are more than happy to walk through that with you. But what we do suggest is you come in for consultation. These extremely talented and educated ladies who have done plenty of procedures are more than happy to walk you through any of your concerns, any of your questions. And we would love to help you change your life. So we're so excited. Thank you so much, all of you, Bonnie, Christy, Misty, for sharing all this great information with us today. I need to get my treatment done. So I am
that, Taylor,
play. I'll do it for you.
You will. I'm gonna play roulette, and I'll figure out which one of you guys is gonna treat me. I'm ready. But
Okay,
thank you guys so
Christy,
much.
you take me with you.
Yes.
Here we go.
One your arm and I'll do the other one.
Yes.
I'm the winner. But thank you guys so much for everything. If you have any questions, reach out to our office and we'll be sending a follow-up email. But thank you so much for your time.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye, everybody.